Hey everyone, Nathan here from Mighty Lancer Games. Today we're going to do a little video to show you how we base our models. So to begin with, we're going to be basing this WizKids Manticore, and I've stuck him on a Reaper 75mm base. Now normally you would stick your figure onto this flat edge of the base here, but because the Manticore's got quite a detailed raised base modelled onto the base of the figure, I decided that I wanted to put him on the dished side, and then what I've done is I've glued some cork, rocks and a couple of bits of slate on here, and then we're going to build up the indented area of this base up to the level of the Manticore's moulded base using some ready mixed lightweight filler. Now this is the kind of stuff that you'd get from any DIY store. Brand is not important. If you get lightweight stuff, that is the best, because then it's obviously a lot more lightweight on your miniature, and it's very easy to use. Normally dries pretty quickly and can be sanded or shaved very easily. So we're going to move over to that in a second once the glue has dried on these little base embellishments, and we'll show you what we do. So all we're going to use is a wooden spatula. So this is just a lolly stick that I've split in half, and we've got our filler. So we're going to get some filler on our lolly stick, and just smudge it in to the base there, like so. So just use your lolly stick to manipulate it around whatever other stuff that you've put in there. Now all these basing accoutrements, shall we say, these little bits of slate and the boulders and any other bits and pieces, sand and what have you, that we're going to use throughout this video, all with the exception of this filler, are available at Mighty Lancer Games. So the bases themselves and the miniature, obviously, all available at mightylancergames.co.uk. So we're just going to spread this filler around into the base, around all these bits of slate and cork. Now you could put those on after, but you'll get a much better finish if you make it look as if they are part of the landscape. So I'm just going to work my way around the base, and then I'll come back and show you the finished piece. Here's our base, now fully dried. So you can see that I've smudged a bit of the filler up onto the pre-molded base, blended it or squidged it in around all of these little bits of cork and slate and stuff on the that we glued into the recess there. So what we're going to do next is we're going to take some Astro Granite from Games Workshop, which is a basing technical paint, and we're going to liberally apply that over the top of all of this and make it all appear seamless. Astro Granite is one of Citadel's texture paints. They've slightly updated the branding on the tub now, but just to give you an idea. So it looks quite thick, and you can apply it either with a texture tool. This is one of Games Workshop's Citadel texture tools, or you just use an old paintbrush. I'm going to use a combination of both just to show you how we get this on. Get the flat end. You could just use a little spatula or something similar to the wooden tool that I used earlier, and you can just squidge this around. You could fill the entire base with this rather than using your filler, but that would be a lot more expensive way of filling your base in. So if you just apply this all over like so, and you want to leave the details of your slate or what have you, so you could just get a thinner bit with your paintbrush, and then you can just apply it in there all around the edges of your slate or your cork, so you don't obscure it, and then everything will look seamless, hopefully. And then when it comes to finally finishing painting your base, you should get a lot better finish. You could put a couple of tufts in around the edges here, and you get a really nice finish. So I'll finish this base up with this stuff, and then I'll show you what it looks like next. Here we've covered the base in the Astro Granite material. You'll see there's a couple of white patches there. That's purposefully, I've left a couple of spots just so you can, the entire thing isn't covered in gravel. And we'll put some tufts and some other bits on once it's dry, and then you'll be able to see the finished product. So we're just going to leave this for a good few hours now, just so it totally cures, and then we'll come back and we'll give it a little bit of a dry brush, paint the rocks in a little bit, and stick some tufts on, and it'll be ready to go. This is it. Here we are, all painted black, and now I'm just going to give this a simple dry brush using that stone grey I showed you. So I'm just going to get a little bit of the grey on a soft brush and just gently dry brush the base. Here we are, all dry brushed up, and I think that looks pretty cool. You can see that I've put a tuft on here. This is a 2mm tuft from Green Stuff World, these slightly larger tufts, and then I've got these also tiny tufts here that are from Gamer's Grass. So I'm just going to add a mixture of these onto the base just to add a little bit more interest. Now, when it comes to placement of tufts, it really is your choice. I like to put them, some of these tiny ones, butted up against the rocks that we've formed with our cork here, so it looks like they're growing out of the recesses. So tiny little sprouts of grass there, along with the odd larger clump like I've put there on this side, where there might be a little collection of soil, so those sprouts can pop up. And you don't want to overdo it with tufts, really, on a base. You can definitely put too many on. If you want it to look like a sparse mountainside, so manticores normally reside on in mountainous areas. So I don't want to put too many on. I do want it to look rocky and barren, so I think I might just put like maybe one or two more on just around the edges there. We'll go for one in that little defile there at the back, and maybe one, we'll pick a really tiny one and we'll just have it sprouting there against that rock, if I can get hold of it. It's ideal to do this with a pair of tweezers because some of these tufts are really small, and if you want them to be really secure, you can just put a little blob of PVA glue or something on there, but they are self-adhesive. I normally find that the self-adhesive nature of the tufts is quite sufficient, but again, personal choice. Let's just have one more random one just under there, and there we go. So I'm going to paint this miniature at some point in the coming weeks, but that is how we do our bases. This is how we base most of our RPG figures, and in this kind of style, so they all match. Hopefully that's been useful to you. All these products are available at mightylancergames.co.uk, so check them out. Thanks for watching.